Let's look at fractions. A fraction is a portion or section of any quantity. And we apply fractions in so many real life situations. For example, if you shared a birthday cake with your friends, you would do so in fractions. A given friend may take a quarter of the cake, another one could take a half of the cake, 1/8 of the cake, and so on and so on. So you would have shared the cake with your friends using fractions. And if we took an example of fraction like 2/5, we can see that fractions have two parts, the upper part and the lower part. The upper part is what we call the numerator. The lower part is called the denominator. So every time we talk about the numerator, we're referring to the upper part of the fraction. Every time we talk about the denominator, we're referring to the lower part of the fraction. And every whole number is a fraction. If I have 4, it's a fraction because it's the same as 4 out of 1. The numerator is 4 and the denominator is 1. Let's take a look at the types of fractions. So the first type of fractions is what we call a proper fraction. And a proper fraction is that fraction in which the numerator, that's the upper part, is smaller than the denominator. And that's what we call the lower part of the fraction. For example, 7/10 is a proper fraction because the numerator is smaller than the denominator, or the denominator is bigger than the numerator. We could have other examples. A half is a proper fraction, a quarter is a proper fraction, 2/7 is a proper fraction. Every time a fraction has a denominator bigger than the numerator, it's said to be a proper fraction. The second type is what we call an improper fraction. Now, a fraction is improper if the numerator, which is the upper part, is bigger than the denominator. Which is the lower part. For example, if you have like 8/3, this is an improper fraction because the numerator, the upper part, is bigger than the denominator, the downer part. 4/3. Any fraction where the numerator 7/4 is an improper fraction because the numerator 7 is bigger than the denominator 4. We have what we call mixed fractions. The mixed fraction is one which has both a whole number, could be an integer, as a whole number, and a fraction. at the same time. That's what we call a mixed fraction. For example, 1 whole number 2/5 is a mixed fraction because it has a whole number and then a fraction. And this fraction is normally proper. You could have 5 whole numbers and 7/8. It's a mixed fraction. You could have -1 whole numbers and 3/5. This is also a mixed fraction. There are also what we call equivalent fractions, and these are just fractions which are equal. When two fractions are equal in their simplest form, they will be said to be equivalent. For example, if I have 4/8, this is equivalent to a half. If I divide by 4 up and down, I would have 1/2. So equivalent fractions are those fractions which are equal to each other after simplification. They're what we call reciprocals of fractions. A reciprocal of a fraction is got by interchanging the numerator with the denominator. For example, the reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. So if you want to get the reciprocal of any number of fraction, all you do is you interchange the numerator with the denominator. You interchange the upper part with the lower part. What is up comes down, and what is down comes up. The knowledge of reciprocals is very important in multiplication, division of fractions. Let's look at some examples about fractions. This one says, convert 2 whole numbers and 1/3 to an improper fraction. So we can convert between the given types of fractions. And to convert 2 whole numbers and 1/3, this will be the same as getting 2 times 3. You add, you multiply this by this, then add what is here, everything all over 3. This gives us 6 plus 1/3, which is equal to 7/3. That's how we convert to improper fractions. You can do all the steps as you become comfortable converting from one form to another. Convert 7 whole numbers and 3/4 to an improper fraction. So 7 whole numbers and 3/4 will be the same as get this, multiply with the whole number, 7 times 4, then add what is up here, 3, everything divide by 4, becomes 28 plus 3 out of 4, which is 31 out of 4. So this fraction and this one are the same, only that this is an improper fraction and this is written as a mixed fraction. Convert 12/5 to a mixed fraction. This is an improper fraction, and 12/5 is the same as, you could do it mentally if you can. 5 goes into 12 2 times, so that those are two whole numbers, and 5 times 2 is 10. So 10 subtracted from 12 gives a remainder of 2. So it leaves 2 out of 5, and that means that 12 over 5 is the same as 2 whole numbers and 2 over 5. We could confirm that if we got 2 whole numbers, 2 over 5, and we converted it back to an improper fraction, we multiply the 5 by the 2, we get 10. 10 plus 2, 12 over 5, which confirms that our answer is correct.